Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here, and today we're talking about what is probably the best Die Hard sequel of all time. Some say it's better than the original. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
We're talking about tapes.
Hello Mike, how are you?
Hello, Tony. How are you?
I just want to let you know, you had the most positive comments of any first-timer on the show ever. It was the opposite of Josie and Minsalet. People love you. You are a cop Mike now.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple Mikes on the show, so you have to differentiate them.
I thought it would be handsome Mike, but okay.
You know what? Now that you said it, I'm sure all the comments are going to say handsome Mike.
Well, thank you, and congratulations on your new studio.
Thank you so much.
It's very impressive.
So yeah, in December we did Die Hard 2.
Thank you.
Die Harder. That was a fun episode, and we used that to promote the short parody that I did, Die Hard, but it's a Christmas movie where we made Die Hard all Christmassy. And that video was really good, and it didn't perform very well. Thanks, everyone. Anyway, Die Hard 3. I love this movie.
I thought it was good. I did think it was good.
Now, did you like it more than 2, or?
I did like 2. I'm not gonna lie. But as far as the characters were again, the characters made the movie.
Yeah.
I thought so.
I've always enjoyed this one. So John McTiernan returns from the first film. This one, I thought it was smart that they changed the formula, because Die Hard kind of caused a explosion of films where a hero is trapped in a situation in a confined area, and
Unbelievable situation.
Yeah.
Impossible situation.
Yes. So you had Die Hard, you had Cliffhanger, you had Under Siege 2,
Right.
Speed, like a lot
Speed
of
2, right.
Speed 2 Cruise Control, which was after this, but which I have a copy of there. I'm going to be reviewing that soon with a yacht captain.
God bless you.
There's also I'll get into it in a second. There's a myth about this movie in Speed 2. But yeah, I feel like at this point, I think I saw Bruce Willis was like, it's got to be different. We can't, because so many people are kind of ripping off our style. And my issue with 2, it was just kind of following 1. But this one, it's completely changed. Now he's got the whole city. He's going through all these different obstacles. Ironically, we're seeing John McClane in New York for the first time because he's a New York cop, but for the audience, it feels like he's out of his element a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, and I really like what they did with the formula. This was written by Jonathan Hensley. I probably butchered that name.
Probably.
He wrote Jumanji. He was one of the writers on
That's
Armageddon.
one of my favorite movies, yes.
Jumanji?
Yeah, so Robin Williams, the first
Yeah,
one.
that was a good one.
Yeah,
I haven't
yes.
seen the new one. Should I? I hear they're actually not bad, but should I bother?
I'm old, as everybody knows, so I am very, very biased. So I'll stick to Robin Williams. Rest in peace, Robin.
Yeah, I do like the original Jumanji.
Yeah,
My only issue with Jumanji is those CGI apes have not. The CGI monkeys have not aged well. Everything else looks great in that movie, but the monkeys, I'm like, oh, that's CGI hair. They just weren't ready for it at that time. They should have waited.
But other than that,
it's a phenomenal movie.
It's a great movie.
And he also wrote and directed the first Punisher, well, not the first Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren, but the Thomas Jane Punisher movie with John Travolta.
I like that better, yes.
Yeah, I didn't like it so much as a Punisher movie, but it was a good revenge flick.
Yes.
If you separate the Punisher stuff from it.
And he really wasn't doing a lot of what you think Punisher things. I
Yeah.
mean, he killed people, but
It
not
was a
like
good-
the Punisher would.
It was a good throwback, revenge action
Right.
movie, but it didn't feel like the Punisher movie after that, Warzone, with the guy who just died recently. That one was a little bit more Punisher. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then the Netflix show was okay.
Yeah.
It was a little slow. I liked it more in Daredevil, but yeah. So he wrote this as a movie called Simon Says, because I think I explained in the last episode. Every Die Hard movie started out as something else until the 5th movie.
Right.
They've all started as different stories and whatnot. So he had this script called Simon Says. There's a rumor going around that's not true that there was a script for Die Hard on a Boat that eventually became Speed 2 Cruise Control, but like that
I could see that. Yes.
but that was like completely debunked.
Until they made Speed 2 on a boat. So,
well, the guy who made Speed 2.
Somebody had a
Yeah,
script
the guy who
somewhere.
made Speed 2, like he came up with the idea on his own.
Right.
I know, but the idea is like people thought like the script was reworked to be Speed 2, and then like they thought it was going to be a Lethal Weapon one. I was reading this whole thing last night. I'm like, I knew about Simon Says being turned, but like I'd never heard about the rest of this. And then I looked up and it's like, yeah, there's this weird theory that's going around that's 100% not true.
So when Speed 2 came out, what movie for Lethal Weapon? Wasn't that 2
I don't know.
already?
Apparently there was a script that they were trying to turn into Lethal Weapon 4 maybe at that time.
Yeah, okay.
And they're saying that this script was supposed to be Die Hard 3, Lethal Weapon, whatever, and it turned into Speed 2. But as far as I can tell, that's not true at all. But for some reason, it's on Wikipedia.
Well,
I don't know why.
they all blend together.
Yeah,
That's all
don't
that
trust
matters.
Wikipedia all the time. So, Lawrence Fishburne
Yes.
was asked to be in this. You say Lawrence Fishburne, right?
Lawrence. Yes.
Okay. Sometimes I call him Larry Fishburne. It's fun when you
Well,
watch
yeah.
old movies and he's Larry Fishburne.
Right, Lawrence.
I think I mentioned
I
it-
think the more popular he got.
Yeah. I think I mentioned it
If I hit the millions, I'm Miguel.
in the Nightmare on Elm Street 3 review we did, because he's in that movie as Larry. I think I mentioned when I lived at Temple University in Old Kensington, I was like walking down the street and I heard this guy still referring to him as Larry Fishburne. I'm like, really? Still? You haven't updated that up? I'm like, okay, all right. He'll always be Larry to me.
Hey.
They asked him to be in this, and I think someone told him not to do it. They're like, stop doing supporting roles. You got to be a leading man now. And then he saw like Samuel Jackson like took off, because this is like right after Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
So Sam Jackson is the man right now.
Right.
Not the movie The Man starring Sam Jackson that came later, but he is the man in Hollywood right now. And I think like it led to Lawrence Fishburne like suing someone over that. It was like a whole thing with Lawrence Fishburne was like mad that he got like kicked out of this movie.
Did he
Or
get
was
kicked out, or he didn't?
I think he was told not to do it by the
Right.
guy who then cast Sam Jackson. It was like a whole thing.
Oh, so he might thought he was getting shafted.
yeah.
Okay, that's something different.
This would have been a really big movie for Lawrence Fishburne, because he's kind of like a co-star with Bruce Willis. It's not really a
but
supporting.
I don't. Now that Samuel did
Yeah,
it,
it's better that it's Sam
right.
Jackson, but like back then, like I think either of them would have worked.
Right,
But yeah, now that when you look at it, you're like, it had to be Sam Jackson.
Right, the way you're right.
Yeah. Samuel Jackson, who I hear is in that really boring Secret Invasion show, the Marvel show.
It did well until the end, and then I think it got
Really?
It tanked.
I jumped off I'm gonna watch all of them at some point, but I think I liked Moon Knight, but that was the last thing I watched. I didn't watch.
Right.
I didn't watch Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and
Yeah.
The
I
cri-
saw She-Hulk maybe 2 episodes.
yeah,
That working thing.
I didn't even see the Guardians Christmas special. So when I went to see the new movie, I had to go on Twitter. Oh, I'm sorry, it's X now. I had to go on X. People were mad that I'm calling it X. I'm like, well, it is. And I was just like, quick, someone tell me what happened in the Christmas special. I didn't watch
Yes.
it. But
And
now I'm
someone
here.
said that was very good. Someone said that.
Yeah,
was
someone said it was
actually,
good. But like, yeah, apparently
really
the
good.
Secret Invasion is people weren't too hot on it for some reason. But
That's why it stayed a secret.
it was very secretive.
It's a secret.
But yeah, let's get into this movie. Starts off, we're done with the Christmas thing. Although there are many Christmas references in this film, they're throwing the Christmas thing out the window. Literally, the song is Summer in the City. Little awkward timing. It starts off with this, like, department store blowing up in the middle of New York.
Yes.
This movie came out a month after the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah. So.
And it's just like, I feel like nowadays, they would delay the movie like a few months.
Probably, but
Yeah.
yes.
Back then, they were like,
yeah.
what a coincidence. And they just released it. This terrorist, Simon, as we know him, played by Jeremy Irons.
Who did it? I thought did a very good job.
Yes, same birthday as me. Me and him have the same. I don't know why I pointed. I have no idea why
So maybe your birthday was.
I have no idea why I pointed
I thought
over
you
there.
maybe
I think
put
I meant
it
to
over
point
on
to
the
the
wall.
camera, but
Okay.
I pointed to the wall. Me and him have the same birthday. And actually, no, I know why I pointed over there. me and Adam West also have the same birthday, and all three of us were in Batman movies, so we're basically the same person.
If you say that, if you believe that.
Was I not in The Dark Knight Rises as football attendee that you can't see?
Folks, he will never let me live. I went for that job and rejected, so he got it. So he's got me on one.
My friend watched it recently, and he found a guy in the stadium who looks like me, and he's now being like, "Oh, that's you." I'm like, "No, that's not me."
Well, where were you in the stadium?
I was behind the goal post, a little closer to the field, but they never did a close up on that section, so you can't really see me. So he found a guy who kind of had similar hair to me, and he's saying it's me. I'm like, "That's not me. I wasn't in that area."
The main thing, son, is that you were there.
Yes. But yeah, he tells Inspector Cobb, that he wants McClane off suspension.
Yes,
it's part of his plan. So McClane's not doing well.
We don't know. First of all, they don't get into what's the problem with the marriage.
Yeah,
and why he was suspended.
Yeah, I'm guessing he was drinking on the job. That's my guess. Because he's pretty hardcore alcoholic in this one.
But 1 and 2, he never took a drink. He never talked.
Well, obviously,
right?
Well, look.
I guess the 2 made him start drinking.
If I had 2 very rough Christmases back to back, I'd probably start
drinking too.
I'd probably hit the eggnog a little early. Yes. Like, hey, it's October. I'm like, yeah, I'm hitting it early. I'm sorry.
Well, I wouldn't be traveling, but go ahead. But that's you wouldn't have a movie then.
But yeah, I guess him and Holly have split up. Like you said, they never really go into why. It's not really needed.
No.
It's just to be like, hey, they're separated now.
Right.
That's
and it's the typical. There's always an issue with cops. I'm trying to save my marriage.
Oh, good. This is actual wood.
Yes.
I'm glad this is actual wood.
Because cops don't get divorced. My bad.
So yeah, they tell him like, hey, this terrorist wants you to do this specific thing, this thing that we're about to learn. There's good setup here for things that pay off later, because they're like looking at local crimes that happen. They're like, well, 14 dump trucks were stolen, which comes back later, and then they talk about the lotto numbers, and they're like, what number do you play? And the guy says his badge number, which I think when I was a kid watching this, like that was the first time I like kind of recognized like a setup and payoff. I'm like, oh, that's why he mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
Did you play your badge number?
No, they say bad luck, so I always play I just random pick. Yeah, I've never played my badge. Now people have hit off my badge, but I've never played it. No,
I'm not a big lotto guy.
Well, I played for the just to let everyone know, if I do hit that. Was it almost $1 billion now?
Oh yeah.
The studio will be different. Just let everybody know.
Are you going to do
it? Have
that?
A lounge chair.
We mentioned in the episode when we did the Willy Wonka review, we mentioned that one guy who won the lottery and he didn't want any of his friends and family to know, so he wore the Scream mask when he accepted the money because he didn't want anyone asking him for money.
You could have someone else go off for you. You could have your lawyer go off.
Yeah, but that's funnier
because you know who that is.
I would legit not to plug something, but the shirt with my face on it is now back in stock on the Retroware store. I would wear a mask to cover up who I am, but I would wear the shirt with my face on it to make it obvious that it's me.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah.
And when people ask me, like, Tony, did you win the lottery in a Ferrari? I'm like, no.
No. The studio is much different.
Do I look like I'm made of money when I'm wearing like a money outfit? Yeah, the studio's now gigantic. So yeah.
Our sponsors now.
So yeah, they tell him he's got to walk with the sandwich board for I forget how many blocks, and he's like, they're gonna be 10 blocks away, I think.
Yeah, I think he had to walk like 4 blocks.
Yeah, and I love where they're like, we'll be back in 10 minutes. He's like, don't bother, I'll be dead in 5. And right. I love the build up to what is on the sign. You just see this old lady stare at him. So he's in Harlem, by the way.
And they made Harlem like it was some type of bad. I've been to Harlem. It's a beautiful spot. It's culturally, yes.
What about in the 90s?
Still, they still had places, but
I've been to Harlem too, but I didn't seem like a bad, no different than anywhere else.
But yeah, they could have just did that anywhere else. But I guess for the special, to bring in Samuel.
Well,
Jackson.
I mean, what he does is like probably the worst thing you could do in most communities. But Harlem is probably the one the audience knows.
Right.
But yeah, we meet Zeus.
Jesus.
He's not Jesus. I love that whole thing. I love he meets his nephews, who the one ended up, I think we talked about last episode, ended up being Hawkman and Black Adam.
Oh.
The one,
right,
yeah, I think
yes,
the older one.
The taller one. Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
He's a cop in Die Hard 5, but he's not the same character. I thought that was weird. I'm like, just say he's the grown-up kid from 3. Like, why
Yeah,
not?
like because they saved his life. So
Yeah,
he
that
wanted-
would have made
yeah, that
sense.
made-
So they're like, no, you're a different character. And I'm like, why?
yeah.
He's yelling at them because they stole a radio. You can push that over.
No, they didn't steal it.
Oh, that's right.
Hey,
someone found it.
Gave it to him. Gave it to him.
It was funny. Crystal's on the show. She always jokes about how she's like, yeah, when I was a kid, I was real naive, and I literally thought my dad found all this stuff that fell off the back of a truck. I'm like, wow, things always fall off back of trucks. But I like that he teaches them a lesson. He's like, no, don't be used by people because then you'll get in trouble and they can deny it. And also, they're not in school. Zeus is also an electrician. They set that up to show that he could do that. Then he hears that there's a white guy outside.
What?
There's a white man standing in the street.
I seen one.
Not like this.
And because I like being on YouTube, we're not going to say what the sandwich board says, Mike, because that'll get us kicked off YouTube. But fun fact about it, if you ever watched the TV version of this movie, it says, I hate everyone.
Yes, they changed it.
Yeah,
right.
That is actually what he wore on set. It said, I hate everyone.
Right, they just
because they were,
it. Right.
Yeah, they were probably like, hey, could you not have Bruce Willis out in public with that sign?
Right. Right.
But this is a few years since CGI was introduced, so they actually digitally added the N-word onto the sign in post. And the thing that cracks me up about that is, like, imagine seeing like Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park, and you're working in digital effects, and they're like, "Hey, we got a great job for you in Die Hard 3." And you're like, "Oh, what am I gonna do? An explosion?" They're like, you got to put the N-word on a sign. I'd be like, "Oh God, I can't brag about my friend to my
like
friends."
I said, it didn't age well. It did not age well. Yes.
I do love this scene though, where like Sam Jackson's just like, you call the cops, someone's about to get killed, because there's a bunch of guys hanging out outside.
Yeah, that just happened to be sent, and they have a basketball, but there's no court around. Yes,
Yeah, there's no court around at all.
That wasn't typical or tried to. I don't know who the people that wrote that, but
Well, Jonathan Hensley, I guess.
right,
I guess ask him.
Yeah, I guess all black
Yeah, I've
guys
never
were
seen
there.
anyone-
a basketball.
I've seen groups of people hanging out outside, but I've
Right.
never seen like a basketball with no net. That was weird. But anyway, they're just chilling. But they see the sign. They're not too happy about it, as you can imagine. But I like that Zeus, because he tells them, it's like, hey, the guy who bombed that building wants me to do this.
Right.
So, like, you got to help me out here. So Zeus, like, reluctantly helps him. Not because he cares about him, because he's like, oh, God, he's a cop. This is a prop.
Later on, he explains why he did it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, that was a cool green screen shot. When they throw him on the street and the taxi cab comes, that was all like composited
Right.
in. It blends seamlessly. I didn't know until like years later that
It was a
Yeah.
I can't imagine Bruce doing that. Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, why don't we try this stunt? 'Cause
Tom Cruise would. Tom Cruise would be like, get as close as you can. And they'd be like, oh God, Tom.
Tom. I did see his new movie. Go ahead.
That new Mission Impossible was good. It was good.
Yes. We're talking about Die Hard 3 now. But
So yeah, Sam Jackson is now along for the adventure, even though he doesn't want to be. But yeah, he corrects him on the name.
He didn't say hey Zeus, he said hey Zeus. My name is Zeus. Zeus? Yeah, Zeus.
so he gets hit
Yeah.
and with a bottle.
Yes.
They with a knife they cut off.
Yeah. And then I think Zeus gets cut in the arm.
They first cut him.
Yeah.
And then the gun's taped to his back.
Yeah.
So when he comes out with the gun, there's no tape.
Oh yeah. I
You may
guess.
want to look at that.
There's probably
So,
that probably be like
It should be skin and tape. That's like I'm not sorry. I don't want to.
no. What I'm thinking is there might have been a shot where he peeled off the tape, but it slowed down the pacing of the scene.
Yes, but when he came up, he had to.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just completely fine.
and it was duct tape. It wasn't like
Yeah, I thought that was
a medical tape.
I thought that was a little fun reference to the first movie because it ends with him taping the gun on his back.
Right, that's what it is.
So yeah, they go back to the police station. He's getting stitched up, and we find out like the bomb squad has found a bomb that didn't go off.
Yes,
And they
Walter.
yes, Walter, and he's very excited, and he's I don't know, Mike. See, I wasn't a cop. Are you allowed to test out an explosive and demonstrate it in the middle of a busy police station? I feel like that's wrong.
You can, but I don't think there will be any cops around.
I know it's for the audience to explain it, but it's just like, well, he's the bomb squad guy. He could just say that's how it works, and I would believe him. I don't think he needed to put the two liquids on like an epoxy. It's
Right.
two liquids that
and
bend.
then throw it into another room where people are standing. Yes.
Full of people.
Well, back then, I guess lawsuits were a part of it because I would have been on the ground. But I'm sorry.
I would have ran away. I'd be like, ah! There's two liquids that mix and can explode, and they see
They
that
have
there's
to mix.
yeah, they see there's a report where like gallons of it
It's missing.
is missing. So yeah, so they know that there's either more bombs or a big bomb out there, and then right on cue, Simon calls. They try to trace him, and it doesn't work. He wants McClane, and for some reason, he wants Zeus to work with McClane.
Yeah, because he saved them. So that's
Yeah.
his punishment for saving.
What does he call him? The Samaritan. He calls
That's
him
the
the whole
good
time.
Samaritan.
Yeah, but yeah, for some reason, I don't know. It's just like, dude, if you're trying to kill McClane, don't give him help. Like, let Zeus go. But for the movie, it works because they're hilarious together.
And it's good to see that he can't do it all by himself.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
needs right.
Which he's never really been able to do because Al helped him out so much in the first film, and then he had help in the second one from some of the airport guys.
Right, he's always had support.
Yes.
he's always.
But
But they've been in the background. This one is more outside with it, which was good. It worked.
yeah. So this time he's getting help from someone who hates him.
I think everyone hates
Everyone kind of hates John.
his wife.
Yeah.
The inspector who suspended him. Apparently, some of
and
his
then the
coworkers.
psychiatrist is there, and he's just like, this guy is going after you because he hates you. And he's like, why? And he's like, I don't know. He just hates you.
Yeah, which was good. Someone had to either work with cops or been around with cops because the jokes and everything. If you're a police, you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with tragedy, we left.
Jonathan Hensley, he got a run-in with the cops after this movie. I'll get to that. Something in this movie got him on the radar of some people. So yeah, they demonstrate the bomb. Simon calls, tells them he wants them to go to this area for the next riddle.
The subway.
Yes, which this seems very Riddler-like. I feel like the new Batman kind of took from this, which is like I always said for years, if they did like a Riddler movie, it would be nice to do something like this.
Yes, you should. Right.
And they kind of did in the new one. They mixed it with like Die Hard 3 and then like Saw because there was always like a death trap. So yeah, I like how McClane guilts Zeus into going. So he's like, hey, where'd you find that bomb? They're like, Chinatown. And he goes, they found the bomb in Harlem. You got to help me out.
And I don't even know why they had to do that. All he had to do is say,
yeah. They could have legit said it was in Harlem.
Right.
But I think it is funnier that like McClane just lies to him to get him to go along. And yeah, they really show that Zeus is kind of racist toward white people. They call him out later. It's funny because he's constantly yelling at McClane, but when you watch the movie, it's like
he helps white people.
Yeah, but I'm just like, there are assholes in here that are mean to Zeus, but McClane's not one of them. And for some reason, McClane gets like the brunt of all his insults.
Yeah, like a cop, the young cop. We'll get to
the
young cop. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they need to get to a train station on Wall Street in 30 minutes because they do the they go on the phone and they hear the man from St. Ives riddle.
Right.
Which you don't know. It's a riddle that intentionally misleads you because it names all these numbers, like how many people are going. Right. It's like, wait, it's just one person is going to St. Ives.
Yes, you have to pay attention, right? Which is good. You're right.
But I like this scene because it shows that like they're being watched.
Get out the damn phone, lady. Police business.
Hell, never.
I can get used to this.
You can simply say there was a fat woman on it and it took you a minute to get her off.
We can't say that now.
Yeah.
It didn't age well, but
there is a person, by the way, as a heavyset person, and me and fellow heavyset podcasters, we're noticing that they're trying to turn fat into person of size.
Really? I just call big boned it.
Yeah,
I'm big boned it.
there's this movement now to call us persons of size, and I'm like,
What size?
that's a good question. But no, we're like, wait, the initials are POS. It sounds like you're calling us pieces of shit.
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't know. Me, I gotta lose weight, so I'm not a person of size
Right.
because I can't go around being called a POS.
I've been called that many a time, so I can't.
So have I, but
Whatever,
I mean,
whatever size I've been.
I don't mind being called it as an insult, but they're like, oh, you're a POS. I'm like, no. That's the funny thing about that is they're trying to bring back Married with Children as an animated series
Really?
with the voice cast, and I'm like, you can't do that now. They won't let you, even as a joke, even to show that he's a bad guy, and as a joke, they will not let you say any of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just because we're so sensitive that we can't joke or talk.
My friend lost his YouTube channel for having a little too much fun with that.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so she gets kicked off the phone. They do the riddle. I like the fake out that there's no bomb in the trash can.
Right, he just wants to see him.
Yeah, so they have to split up to try to get to Wall Street in 30 minutes.
Which I didn't understand at first, but yes, John says it's better if we split up.
Yes. Wait. No, wait, they don't split up yet. First, they get in a cab.
Oh,
sorry, I jumped ahead.
Right,
First, they get in a cab, and they're going to cut through Central Park. And I like where he's just like, oh, yeah, the Central Park area is always backed up. He's like, I didn't say that. I said the park itself. I love the taxi cab ripping through the park.
Yes.
It is so cool. By the way, I also love Sam Jackson enjoying his police status where he's like, get off the phone, police business. He's like, I get used to this. Yeah. The camera work with the car just ripping through Central Park is so good. There's like a lot of really good.
I'm surprised the cab made it, but yes.
Yeah, I'm also. By the way,
and didn't hit anyone.
I was looking at like the wheels on that thing. I'm like, that looks like a souped up cab. That doesn't look like a cab I've been in.
Right, yes. Especially for New York.
Yeah.
Are you aiming for these people? No. Maybe that's mine.
And it's just tearing through. I don't know the camera work, how they like tracked the shots with it. Just looks so good.
It was very good.
I think it's also just not to complain about CGI too much, but I've been talking about it a lot lately. But like so many movies I've seen recently just have those like digital vehicle chases. Like the new Indiana Jones was all digital vehicle chases.
Well, now because look, it saves money and then safety reasons.
I guess,
yes.
But like at some point, it's just like this doesn't look like a movie anymore.
Well, you've been spoiled. Like
the Mission Impossible had a good vehicle chase. I'll give it that.
Okay.
That one had a good one.
But they had to close, So so.
But I don't know. I just miss like the and there are movies that still do it, but I just miss more practical cars. Like I also recently watched I rewatched the Bourne trilogy, and there's so many good car chases in that.
Well, my first original one, I would have to go Steve McQueen.
Yes,
Bullet.
Yeah.
If you ever want to see that started it off.
That's a good one. That is a good one. But yeah, I just love them ripping through there. Yeah. But when they get out of the Central Park, they call like 911 so they can follow an ambulance or fire truck.
That is true. Yes. People do. Yeah. If you watch on a highway.
Yeah.
People get behind. Yes.
I
don't. But
then they split up.
Right.
Then they split up, and I'm sorry. I think jumping on top of a subway train, I feel like that's going to be a bad time. I would not do it.
Well, the thing that amazed me before he jumped on, he just opened up the vent.
Yeah, he just opened it up like it was not. Have you seen people? They usually have like metal bars to open that stuff up.
I didn't. Go ahead. I didn't want to. The thing I love about the action movies.
Yeah.
Okay, you jump on a train. Most people, you jump on you make it, but then you always have to slide off, or some kind of danger, like it.
Yeah.
If I jump on a train, I'm there. You ain't got to worry about that. If we ain't slide, we ain't doing that. I'm right there.
I just feel like he would jump on and something would just hit him right away.
No, that would be me. Hit me, roll over.
Yeah. So he gets into the train.
I died.
Zeus goes to the train station. I love the guy just won't get off the phone. He just screams at him, which gets the attention of the cop.
Well, the cop he jumped the deterrence gun, and that got the
which
attention,
look, I'm sorry, maybe it was different in 1995, but I've ridden the New York subway a lot. They don't care. they rarely.
You think?
Like I've seen people, you know how they exit out the door, like the handicap, they open up the door. I've seen people rush in all the time. So yeah, that cop was taking his job a little too seriously that day. But yeah,
he was a rookie.
Yeah, he pulled the gun out pretty quick though. I'm like, I don't know, that was a little quick for just and it's like he stopped yelling after the cops showed up. But yeah, this scene is tense because McClane's like going through the train to find the bomb, and then he finally does. And he's trying to answer the phone. I like Sam Jackson. He's like, look, if you're going to shoot me, but I need to answer this. But they don't make it in time.
Right.
Simon says they're late. There's a trigger there for
I'm
the
about
bomb.
to say, so yes. So that they wouldn't have made it no matter what.
Yeah. Right. Then, like, he picks up on that, but it's a cool explosion.
Oh, yes.
Where the back of the subway car like comes up on like the
Remind me of the Dark Knight. Batman Begins.
Batman Begins, yeah. Batman Begins had a really cool train explosion too. But yeah, I like how it just like almost sandwiches everyone in, and somehow McClane survives, like he always does.
Yes.
And I also like Zeus, where he's just like, you want to trust me, you want to get down, and then he saves the cop.
He saves the cop. That's what I'm saying. So that made him not as mean and angry. angry.
Hopefully, he changed that cop's life.
Yeah, by saving him. That cop will still keep pulling the gun out on people.
Oh wait, we missed one scene.
What was that?
I think when they separated, how Zeus got to the train station, he was in the cab, and the guy gets in. Yeah, the guy gets in, and he's just like, "Oh, I want you to take me here." He's like, "I'm not a cab," and then he's like, "Oh, what? You don't like white people?" And then he just speeds.
He's going to take his medallion
away.
He's like, "Okay."
Yeah, I totally forgot that detail, Joe. Until I just saw it here. So yeah, they figured out that it was rigged. Everyone is now at Wall Street because a bomb just went off. They're looking at all the chaos. I love the people in like the buildings looking down
with popcorn. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So a bunch of feds show up, and they want to meet with John and the inspector. And for some reason, Zeus is there too. And they're telling them they know who's behind this terrorist cell. There's like this big, tall looking German guy. This woman who's very quiet because I think she had a throat injury. And then they go, "Hey, here's Peter Krieg." And they're like, "Do any of these names sound familiar?" And he's just like, "No." And he's just like, "Well, Peter Krieg was born Simon Peter Gruber."
The name Gruber mean anything to you, Lieutenant?
Rings a bell, yeah.
And then that's where you get the Die Hard with a Vengeance title.
He has a flashback of
I love that that's his last memory of Hans Gruber is him falling down.
Hey.
I love it. He's just like, does that name sound familiar? He's like, yeah, it rings a bell. It's like, yeah, you threw him off a building.
Yes. And the reason she was injured was the bomb in the bed.
Right. Yeah, they tried to kill her. Like they tried to assassinate her, but they don't know if they
got one. They didn't get.
Yeah, they got one, but they didn't get her.
They didn't get her.
So yeah, they were like, yeah, these guys are like terrorists for hire. They do a bunch of stuff. They work for a bunch of criminals, and they're targeting you because you killed his brother. But even that doesn't really make sense because like they're going out, they're really going out of their way to get back to all
these are soldiers, right? Just to make sure these are well trained.
Yes, these are soldiers.
Because this would come later on when we get to the movie. I have a question for you. Maybe you can help me.
Yeah. So yeah, Simon calls, and I like that Simon knows all the agents that are in the car. Right. Like he's just keeping an eye on all of them. But he tells him, it's like, hey, the next bomb is at a park, but that there's an even bigger bomb in one of New York's schools. So now they have like a crisis. They can't evacuate any of the schools, but they are allowed to look for it. So all the police in the city have to now stop what they're doing and go into like every public school looking for bombs.
Without a radio.
Without a radio. Oh, but they're going to call through 911. Remember, like the guy says,
this is 1995, right?
Yeah.
So they still have payphones.
They do.
So there are about 21 cops on it.
Well, here's the thing. They say that like, hey, they can't use the police radio, so all the calls are going to go through 911. Right. And I like the girl is there, and she's like, well, I'm going to marry Donald Trump. Like she's like, this is ridiculous.
They have two references.
They do have two references to Trump
and Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah, what I missed the Hillary Clinton one.
The truck driver.
What did he say about her?
No, McLean said Hillary Clinton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Trump and Hillary Clinton have mentioned in that movie. So
It is funny. People like when they watch these now, they're all surprised. It's like, no, they were referenced a lot. They were
right.
in movies.
And she said, and I'm going to marry Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'm going to marry Donald Trump.
That didn't age well either. For a black woman, I'm just saying. That didn't age well.
Hey, the first time he wanted to run for president, he wanted Oprah to be his running mate. I think that would have worked out better for him.
Yeah.
That's another thing. People were just like, I can't believe in 2000, The Simpsons predicted he would run. It's like, no, he was talking about running in 2000. That's why they made the joke.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, I can talk about Donald Trump all day, Mike, but we got to get back to this. No. Everyone is now tuned off the episode. All the dump trucks arrive at that area.
Right.
This is also when we like actually get to see Simon for the first time. And I love his American accent is so terrible. Like he's not
from
even
Texas. From Texas.
He's not even trying.
Holy Toledo. Somebody had fun.
Right.
It's like, it's Wall Street. There's a lot of money here. But he's pretending to be like a cleanup crew for the city. And I love that the one cop is like, wow, that's really fast.
Right. That's the one that unfortunately.
With the badge number, who then ends up getting killed. And I like how the terrorists are like, they're like, a lot of them are working together for the first time. They're like, no guns. Who got this guy? It's like, oh, it's one of this guy's guys.
Right. Like some of the terrorists injected and then the other ones just said,
yeah, because I feel like
that's a shoot.
Well, not to spoil toward the end, but like not all of these guys are working.
Yes.
So they don't know. Like some of them don't know that they're part of a different plan. So yeah, they're all there. It's revealed that the subway bombing, and this is actually one similarity to the first one, where like the terrorists weren't really trying to take over the building for any reason. They just wanted to steal all the bail bonds.
Right.
So for this, they're like, yeah, we blew up the subway and then we called off all the cops so we could drill into the New York Federal Reserve underneath.
Which is not a bad idea.
It's
as far
not
as
a bad
the plot.
idea. Although the one fact I read, if you were actually going to steal all the gold in the Federal Reserve, you would need 180 something dump trucks, not 14.
Well, they only took 7. They
left some behind. They left some behind. Yeah, and I love that the movie kind of just takes a break from all the McLean stuff and shows you this intricate heist that they're doing.
Yes.
It is really, really cool. So they kill off some of the guards. That lady murders the hell out of that one guard.
Sushi.
Yeah. And I love that he's just like, I think you got him. I think he's dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, they take pretty much everything. And they even say that there's more gold than
That's
in
what I'm
Fort
saying.
Knox.
So yeah. So maybe they left some. They only need enough.
Yeah, and I love that they have all the countries on there and they're just yanking the chains off of there. So yeah, back to the main story. McLean finds the bomb in the park, and it's like one of those water weight things. And I'm gonna be honest, if that was me, I would just start running. I would just start running and screaming. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna figure this out. I'm not even gonna risk it. Everyone just run away. Run away right now.
But this is the great thing about the movie.
Yeah.
Two people had to work together and figure that out. So you and I would be blown up or running down the.
But yeah, I do like, this is when he calls, he calls Zeus out for being racist.
Have I oppressed your people somehow? I'll tell you what your problem is. You don't like me because you're a racist. What?
Right.
He's like, you don't like white people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's like, did I oppress you? And I'm like, actually, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, he's McLean. His family probably came here in like the 20s. They're Irish. They were also treated like shit. I feel like Zeus's hatred is a little misdirected here.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, maybe find a different white guy. You might get lucky. I don't know. Your hate on me is not really earned. But yeah, they're able to stop the bomb.
Right. And they bonded.
Huh? Yes, they bonded. They bonded over it.
They bonded over it.
And they hear that they have to go to, was it Yankee Stadium?
Yankee Stadium.
Yes, they have to go to Yankee Stadium. But McLean starts to piece things together. They bump into some kids who are looting.
Hispanic, yes. Unfortunately, I
that kid is such a terrible actor. I'm sorry. He's like constantly like looking off, and I'm just like, that kid sucks. But he tells him, it's like, yeah, the cops are all away.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. One of the early Christmas references. And
you can steal anything.
Yeah, you can steal anything. He's like, oh shit. And he basically says, like, there were no chances we were ever going to stop that bomb, and now all the criminals are away. So he has to investigate.
They separate.
They split up again. He's like, hey, give this bomb to the cops. And I like that, like, the cops are the bad guys. They're the terrorists.
Right.
And he gives them the bomb, and he's, like, talking to the dude. He's like, hey, just Zeus is coming up to me, not McClane. He's like, oh, also McClane is going into the building. And you realize that Simon's initial plan has kind of fell apart.
Right.
He's like, oh, I did all that stuff at the stadium. It's like, all right, I guess kill McClane. And I do like that they're like, well, we don't want us to do
Well, he doesn't want to kill him. The tall German.
Well, the tall one wants him to
time.
the tall one is not into the whole game
Right.
thing.
He just.
But Simon does go like, yeah, you could probably kill him now because it's
Right.
probably going to screw things up. But I like they're like with Zeus. They're like, what do you want us to do with Zeus? And Simon's like, no, I'll let him go. Like he doesn't really care about Zeus that much.
Right.
Although that was his undoing because Zeus helps him out so much. He probably should have been like, take care of that guy.
I would have taken.
But I like that they showed like even the terrorists, they have like, and this is revealed even later, they have somewhat of a conscience because the guy wants to leave the bomb and he's
He
just
says
like,
a kid.
he's like, no, some kid could grab this. But it also, that's another setup for something that's happening soon. They need that bomb for later.
Right.
John recognizes his friend's badge when he gets in the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this scene is awesome. When he's taking out all, if this is bloodier.
This is well trained soldier. So help me out here. I'm just, and then and sorry about this. This is from a cop's perspective.
Yeah.
And when he killed his friend, the detective, he just shot him without any. In the elevator, they both have guns on each other. Now, McClane is saying, drop the gun.
Yeah.
So why doesn't the guy just shoot? I mean, but that's a
good point. That's a good
I'm just
point.
saying, sorry about that, folks.
That's okay. I will say though, like one of my favorite scenes is when McClane like throws the guy and like you just see you don't see the head blowing up, but you see the brain matter.
Right, because it comes
everywhere.
on it. Right, yes.
And I'm like, that's one of my favorite shots. I'm like, that is like the guard being stabbed a million times, and that is like super brutal for this movie. And I'm like, nothing else is that violent. I'm like, man, I miss.
Those soldiers were like a foot over McClane and at least had 50 pounds. I'm sorry.
Well, I liked earlier when the guy's talking.
Shout out to all my men and women in the armed forces. You could whip my butt anytime. Yes.
I did like when the head of the bank is talking about like the security not working, not realizing he's talking to the guy. But I love that like the security guards are looking at all like the bankers and they're all wearing like military boots and they're like taking note of that. They're like, no, that's not really shoes that people wear. So yeah, they find the aftermath of the robbery and they take the gold bar. And I like that Zeus is like, this is heavy.
Yes.
So they realize
you only
like,
take one. Shout out to honesty.
Yeah, wait, I like McClane's like, they're not going to let you keep that. It's like, it'll be fine. So yeah, they know that they have to hunt the dump trucks, and they know that there's something to do with the 21st president. We'll reveal.
Yes.
And no one knows.
Clue.
No one knows who the 21st president. I know who it is because of this movie, but it is funny. Like, can you I could probably name most of the presidents, but if you told me to do it in order, I'd be like, oh, I have no idea.
Well, that's where the Hillary Clinton came in because he said the 43rd president. And John McClane said Hillary Clinton, which is now didn't age well. Sorry. Shout out to Hillary.
Well, what was that? That was like that Eddie Murphy movie that bombed.
Well, she would have been the 44th president. That's right.
Well, no, she would have been 45th.
No,
right?
44th.
44th?
Because Obama beat her out. She ran.
Oh, right.
So
she lost the Democrat, and then she lost the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But no, what was that movie? Pluto Nash.
My God.
Yeah, but they show that they have like $10,000 bills and it's President Clinton on it. I'm like, maybe, hope one day, maybe we'll see.
Oh, poor Eddie. Sorry about that, bro. I know. I know they gave you a lot of money for that. Go ahead.
Oh, they're doing another Beverly Hills.
No, stop. Please.
Yeah, I think I told you I didn't even see Coming to America 2. So
I did see that.
Yeah, and that's a movie I love. I was never super into Beverly Hills Cop. I'd have to rewatch it again.
First one was good. The first one was it was
Is Gilbert
original.
Godfrey in one of those?
Yes, two.
Dude, I got to work with that guy twice.
He was fun.
The nicest. It's so funny because if you only know him from like acting,
right?
when off camera, he was like the nicest, sweetest, like soft-spoken guy. And like when you say action, he would just go like 0 to 60, just start screaming and then go right back to what he was.
Right.
Yeah, I'd have to revisit Beverly Hills Cop. I know George Lucas has a weird cameo in 3.
Oh, at the park.
Yeah, like that's a bizarre cameo. So yeah, Simon causes a mass panic just to slow everyone down because he just goes on the radio and just tells everyone about the bomb.
Right,
and this scene is cool.
I like that because you can relate to that because everybody has kids or no kids or whatever. Right?
Yeah,
so
like you see people being like, "Can you call my wife? Can you call this?" And I love the one where it's like the deli. They try to give the guy in the or the lady the sandwich, and the camera pans over, and they're just running out the door.
Yeah. Shout out to all the moms. She left. Dad would think about it. Mom just left.
Just didn't even stop to think.
Didn't even think
boom,
about it.
I gotta go. So yeah, like I said, they're split up. Zeus is heading to the stadium. John pulls over a dump truck. Actually, no, there's a little bit of a car chase before this because they're in like a shitty car.
They're in a Yugo.
Yeah, which they broke into with the gold bar. And then they steal another guy's car. And
Mercedes Benz.
They steal the Mercedes Benz, and I like when Zeus is like, "Oh, that guy's gonna be pissed," and then McClane goes not until he sees what's in the back seat because he left the gold there. He's like, "My gold." But yeah, they pull over a dump truck that's not part of the heist.
Right.
And this is where we meet Jerry. And
I like Jerry.
I think we joked the janitor in the previous one was just super helpful. And they're like, oh, he just found a super helpful, informative,
intelligent.
Yeah.
Right. Everything you could ask for, yes. but he was a great character. See,
he was great.
He was a good character.
I think they were just like, we need to figure out a way to get John McClane all this information. I think they kind of wrote themselves in the corner like, oh, what if he just met a truck driver that just happened to know all of this?
And there are people out there like
there
that.
are people out there like this. Yeah. But yeah, he figures out they're going into a tunnel, which I thought was cool. Like they're going underneath the ground to avoid everything.
Aqueduct.
Yeah, the aqueduct. He was like, why is he going to this thing? He's like, no, the water aqueduct. Right. So yeah, John kills the 2 terrorists in the truck, making a Christmas reference.
Yeah, they said he was a jolly old fat guy with a snowy white beard.
He didn't give him much a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, good thing those guys just happened to be terrorists because John didn't even confirm it. He just went in guns blazing.
And reloading would have helped too. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry. It's the police officer. Sorry.
So Jerry lets him know that Chester A. Arthur was the 21st president.
Right.
Which reveals that's which school it is. It's the Chester A. Arthur. So the hitman at the stadium is waiting for Zeus and McClane, but only Zeus shows up. And I like that would have been their ending. They would have just seen game over and got shot.
Yeah, right.
But I love the dude's just like, there's only one. They're like, what do we do? I don't know. Let's follow him. Let's follow him.
To get McClane. So,
yeah. But I guess because they're underground, they can't confirm with Simon what to do. Mm-hmm. So they're like, we'll just follow him until we get orders. So Simon goes a little overboard. He finds out McClane's still alive. And he needs to get him off his tail. But I don't think he needed to flood the entire tunnel and blow the dam.
Well, that's because John said something derogatory.
Oh, yes.
And
gets under his skin a little bit.
Gets under his skin. And you could see that, he's not as cool as...
Yeah.
But if you remember, the psychiatrist had said that at some point he's going to... And sure enough...
Yep.
He got under his skin, and then he just said... Because there was gold in that. I mean... Not that I would do this. Let me clarify that for legal reasons. But that dump truck was full of gold. So I would have just had John come up and shoot him and then get the... Sorry.
I would have set my guys in there, guns blazing.
Right,
I wouldn't have blown the dam.
And all that... I mean, he was really...
Also, if you get caught, you're already in a lot of trouble blowing a dam that's under construction. Like, you're going to get way more. That's going to add on to your terrorist
New York
charges.
City's going to whip your... they don't care about anything else but messing up their travel time. New York City. Yeah.
Now, listen, I know it's an action movie, but there's no possible way John McClane could ever survive this. The water just coming down the tunnel... and he jumps on top of the truck.
Before that, he did a 360 in a dump truck with a. For you younger people, back in the day, stick was the way to drive. A lot of people had stick.
Yeah, I don't think he could have pulled that off.
I don't think. Yeah,
I think a lot of that is actually miniatures, though.
I think.
I was watching this last night, and I'm like, if that's a miniature, I totally believe it. Looks so good.
The way he spun around, though, I mean, a dump truck, folks.
Yeah, so not only is he surfing on the dump truck,
yes,
he grabs onto a ladder, and it's like, I'm sorry, that water pressure, you'd be split in half.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
and then, but no, instead it shoots him like a bullet up the tube into the air, and he luckily lands in a puddle.
Yeah, and there's all concrete and everything else around it. Listen, my luck, I go up. If I was in a movie, I would go up, and as I'm going up in the air, a plane would just boom, and then it would be Die Hard on a plane.
Die Hard on a plane? Passenger 57?
Oh, yes. Always bet on black, yes.
I think I screwed up last time. I think I said Halle Berry was in that movie, and I don't think she is. I don't know why I thought that.
She'll have flashbacks with Wesley Snipes. What do you...
At some point, we should do Passenger 57.
I would love to. Thank you.
That is a fun one.
That is a wow.
I think I might have, if you missed the episode we did, I think I mentioned when I first started going to casinos, I went to the roulette table and I was like, always bet on black. And then I actually won like $60 and I'm like, good. Thanks, Wesley. You taught me to be good with money, and you taught me a lot about taxes, Wesley.
Oh, I think he taught himself about taxes.
Yeah, when we reviewed Blade, me and my friend Royce, was like, would Blade lie? And my friend Royce just goes, yes, on his taxes.
That's brutal. Shout out to Wesley. I
like Wesley.
Let me tell you what Blade. I want to see Blade on. That was I took the. My wife set that up for all the guys to go.
Oh,
see.
nice.
Yes, your father and some of the guys because I like movies.
Yeah,
so
Blade was good.
That was my bachelor party.
I reviewed all three of them on the channel, and
2 were great.
Those 2 were great. Those two were great. The sniper is chasing them. They have a little bit of a car chase with the sniper.
And he still has a gun, and he still has bullets.
Yes. I don't know where he's getting all these bullets from.
That's what I'm saying.
And during this, Zeus realizes that his nephews are in that school.
He said, yeah, he just said, right.
So now he has more of a personal reason to be invested in this.
Right.
At the school, they find the bomb.
Yes, because it was not plugged in, but yet it still had a temperature.
Yeah. So it was like delivered that morning, and then the dude, the bomb guy,
Walter.
He makes a partridge in a pear. He's like, all right, there's this, and a partridge, and so it's like your 3 Christmas references. So he has to figure out a way to dissolve the bomb, but they're afraid to evacuate the kids because they heard that they would blow up the school if anyone was leaving.
Right.
So yeah, they now know that the trucks went to a ship. They figured out that the trucks went to a ship and all the gold is on a ship. And I love, this is the most awesome thing. They use the cable from the sniper's truck to go onto the ship.
Shout out to a Dodge Ram.
Yeah.
I had one. That's what.
Yeah, I think I remember that car.
Yes, with a winch.
So they're trying to go down the wire and it breaks. They swing down, they slice a dude in half.
That's shooting at them.
Yes.
Shooting at
that's shooting at them.
And no one else notices.
But not only do they slice them in half and then land on a a shipping crate, I feel like that would hurt.
I would think that would hurt.
I love when they're like, grab his legs, and you see they're grabbing both parts of his body.
And no one throws up. I know, yes.
I would probably, that was pretty fresh. I'd probably be throwing up.
Yes.
I like this though, where the 2 thieves, the big guy, they find out that Simon is pulling one over on them because they're like, hey, I just checked all the crates and they're all just scrap metal. So
how did that not know? Okay, go ahead.
Those guys were not in on the master plan.
Right, but if I'm not mistaken, the big German guy told Simon, just kill him.
Yeah.
Well, he was driving.
Yeah.
A dump truck full of gold. So
at some point
they switched. Shout out to Simon.
Simon was smart with that.
Simon, God, Because I was wondering how he did not know what was going on.
John teaches Zeus how to use a gun, and I think
apparently not.
he
not
neglects
well.
the safety. He neglects the safety, and Zeus could kill Simon, but he doesn't, and he ends up getting shot
In a league.
Yes, and then John gets his ass kicked by the one dude.
But he gets his ass kicked a lot.
Yeah, but like this is a pretty brutal beatdown. He finally like kicks the guy's ass. He doesn't kill him for some reason, but he finally is able to like incapacitate him. But he's just like drenched. He's like this in the first movie. He's like drenched in blood by the end.
And didn't he hurt his because of the cable? Remember, he hurt his arm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So go ahead.
He's pretty beat up. I like when he's shirtless and you don't see any of the scars from previous movies. I'm like, wow, he must have a really good plastic surgeon. Really cover those up.
We have dental too, also. Police and fire.
The cops get the kids out of the school, and they realize it didn't go off. They're like, okay, he's not watching. But then they realize the nephews and a few other are still in a classroom because I guess they got bored and they went to sneak out of the thing.
No,
What happened?
The radio. The
right.
little kid says, "Nah." Well, here's what, and this
I missed that detail last night. I was babysitting last night.
Oh,
but
wait,
anyway.
and how are they?
They were great.
Okay.
They were great.
So this is the teacher or the principal says the fire department, and every kid there. I don't care what era it was. Popo. So I don't know why they didn't say police are here to evacuate, but they try to say the fire department. So every minority kid was like, yeah,
Yeah.
and then the little kid says to the bigger kid, no, they're here about that radio.
Oh, that's
Right,
right.
they
They
gonna
think
try
they're
to
getting
trick
arrested for the radio.
Yes.
I mean,
So
they recognize the cops, but they should know like a stolen radio does not warrant this type of.
I've had time on the year. Don't lie to children. They'll figure it out real quick. So just be honest with them. They're smarter than adults.
So yeah, they try to save the kids, but they're running out of time. They're on the roof. Everything's about to blow. Turns out the bomb's fake.
Yes.
It's just full of corn syrup.
And this is where Die Hard 5 really could have came in because the kid, the woman held the kids.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
could have
made sense.
Could have made. I'm just saying.
They're like, that cop lady
let me
saved
rate-
me.
yes.
I'm gonna be a cop.
Yeah. Let me rate that for Die Hard 6.
No, after Die Hard 5, we're done.
You were done.
Well,
We're done.
Bruce Willis can't do it anyway, but please no more Die Hard movies.
I was thinking of. Oh, okay.
Oh, did you want to be?
Sorry.
Did you want to be the star of Die Hard?
Just destroy my dreams, Tony.
sorry, I'm
Just
sorry.
destroy. Go ahead. That was a plug for anyone else out there. Thank you. He's my partner.
Here's the star of the next Die Hard movie. Some guy. Was he in other movies? No.
Nah, doesn't matter.
He reviewed 2 of them on an internet show.
Right.
We were like, that's the
A
guy.
very popular internet show. I might want to.
Yes,
say.
yes. We're up to
Thank you.
58,000 subscribers as of this recording.
Congratulations.
Hopefully, by the time it airs, I'm at 1 million.
Then
Or 59,000 would be good too.
or I want to raise, but go ahead. We'll talk about that.
Don't ask
later.
for a raise on this show.
Yeah. I think it's.
Mike, I would like a raise too. Patreon.com/hackthemovies. That's my raise.
There you go.
So yeah, the real bomb is on the ship. The plan that some of the terrorists know that they were hired for was that some gentleman in the Middle East hired them to steal the gold and then blow it up and sink it at the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
To screw over the world economies. That's the plan that they were hired for. But his real plan is he's going to make them think he blew up all the gold and then just keep it for himself, which I feel like the Middle Eastern guy should have known that was going to happen.
Yeah, and this is back to Die Hard 1 where they're going to blow up the building and then everything's buried. Then
which I like because they're like tied up and they're put on the thing. And I like that he's just like, no, I know the man, I know the family. The only thing better than blowing up gold is making you think they blew it up. But I like that they reveal like he wasn't a fan of his brother. Because he's like, your brother was an asshole. It's like, yeah, he got his number. But they're like, why do you want to kill him? I heard he didn't even like your brother. And he's just like, yeah, there's a difference between not liking. And then it turns out he's racist toward Irish people.
Right,
He's like,
Irish flatfoot. Yes.
Yeah, he's not angry that his brother got killed. He's angry that an Irish guy killed his brother.
Right. A flatfoot, a
Dumb
basic
Irish flatfoot throws him off a building.
See, just to let you know, police, we figure it out. Not all, well, we figure things out.
But then this ends up being Simon's undoing because McClane's had a headache the whole movie. Again, so much good setup and payoff.
Yes.
McClane's had a headache for the whole movie. They found out earlier that Simon suffers from migraines, so he asks him for an aspirin, and he throws him the aspirin bottle.
Says, good luck, keep it.
Keep the bottle.
Keep the bottle.
And then I like this little bonding moment because they think they're going to die, and they're talking about, like, hey, why'd you break up with Holly? Like, what happened? And it's like, well, we got mad and I didn't answer the phone. It's like, you threw away your marriage because you were too stubborn to open up a phone call. He's like, my wife is a very stubborn woman.
You're right. They're both right.
I mean, they probably should have divorced. They never get back together, as we learned from Die Hard 4 and 5.
Yes.
John should probably just start dating again. So yeah, they're able to, Zeus is able to pick the lock on the thing. I like when he goes, hey, is there a cop trick to get these handcuffs off? He's like, yeah, use a key. So he's able to pick the lock, but then it drops. The little needle drops. The barbed wire in his arm drops. So he comes up with a great idea where he mixes the two chemicals and uses it
from Walter,
up,
yes,
which I feel like would just blow up his hands. I feel like his hands would just be shattered.
And then that would be Jurassic Park.
Which Sam Jackson was in.
That's what I'm saying. Then it would just freeway to Jurassic Park.
I am so glad. Because with these new Jurassic movies, because he got so much popular afterwards, I'm like, are they going to pull some kind of stunt where they say Sam Jackson survived the first movie? I was waiting for these new Jurassic movies.
Well, he would have no arm.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to show up with one arm. I'm like, are they going to...
No, it took... when she had...
It was like from the shoulder off. Yeah. And I was just like, I hope they don't stoop to that level.
No,
and thankfully they didn't.
No. And Samuel Jackson, again, who hates white people, he says, no, he sacrifices. No, just go.
Yeah, I do like that. He's like, look, you're free. Just go. And he's like,
go.
no, I'm not going to have your death on my conscience. Right. So they basically end racism is what I'm getting out of this.
In 1995, you heard it first.
Look. How we end racism. We show them all Die Hard with a Vengeance and the movie Enemy Mine. Did you ever see that?
Yes, with Dennis Quaid and
Louis Gossett Jr. Yeah, just show those two movies.
That was an excellent.
Racism is over after you watch this. It's that easy. Could you believe it?
Yeah.
So yeah, they get off the boat just in time. That thing blows the hell up.
That's another thing that... Go ahead. I won't.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've been around explosions. I'm not proud of it, but the impact of this disorientation that it does to you, and this... but not only did they jump off a boat and didn't jump too far, because, they could have been unconscious, but then the boat sinking
would pull them down.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Let's go back to Titanic,
which I've reviewed on this channel.
Right. So,
you know, it's funny. Like, not that it's the most accurate movie, but the beginning of The Hurt Locker actually shows that, because so many movies are like, the blast propelled me, the blast shot me away. It's like, no, your insides shatter and vibrate.
Oh, right.
And the beginning of Hurt Locker is pretty good, where the guy's wearing the bomb suit and he's running, but the shockwave like screws him up. He like spits up blood and stuff.
Right.
But it's a movie. It's
a
fun action movie. It's not a gritty war drama.
No. This was fun, and they both wake up before they drown.
Yes, surprisingly, they're able to just wake up. They're able to get off the boat. They survive. But they feel bad because they lost. They're like, we have to dredge the water. And they're like, you're never going to find it.
No. John is upset. Zeus is like, look, we're alive.
Yeah.
And the FBI are upset. They're trying to dredge because they're embarrassed. So,
yes. They're embarrassed that all the gold's missing.
Right.
So, yeah, he's like, hey, look, you get a quarter. Go call your wife.
Yeah. Does anyone have a quarter?
Yes. Now. Before we go any further, this is when all the reshoots happen. Do you know the original ending of this film?
No.
Okay, I will talk about...
But you will tell me.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about this ending here, and then I'll explain the alternate ending and how this movie almost had, like, the worst ending. I'm not... As much as I love this movie, this final like act here feels kind of rushed because it was rushed. It was entirely reshot.
Right.
I still like what's happening, but it's not as intense as what we just saw for like the previous hour and a half. When he has the aspirin bottle and it has a logo from where it was purchased, which is French for north of the border.
Right.
And they figure out like, oh, he must be at this truck stop. It's a truck stop, so it would make sense for a bunch of like dump trucks and stuff to be there. So we see Simon and his boys celebrating.
Yes.
And they're gonna like separate all the golds to like all these different places.
Right. Bus. They were going to use a bus.
A bus and all that stuff. And he wants to celebrate with his lady.
And which makes really no sense because throughout the movie, he didn't show any emotion towards her. In fact, he stopped her from slicing that poor guy up.
Yeah, I think it was implied she was his girlfriend. But yeah, him suddenly being like, suddenly this is the most important thing to me right now. Like, it could be the hottest girl in the world. I'd be like, there's $1 billion I really need to focus on right now.
That's because I'm broke.
Yeah. So
I love my wife, but I'm broke.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go celebrate with her, and they have a weird kink relationship where they beat the hell out of each other. But then John McClane and Zeus, who for some reason is allowed to be on the helicopter during this, I feel like his role should be done now.
He could have stayed, right? Especially since he said, look, it's over. And
yeah, but I feel like the cops wouldn't have let him on the helicopter. They would have been like, no, you're not. I don't even think John would be on the helicopter. They're like, well, now we're in Canada.
I believe they were on a border.
Were they? I thought they were in Canada.
Were they? Because I thought that's what they were crossing into the border. That's what I thought they were.
No, I thought they were in Canada. Which, I mean, if it's a terrorist thing, you probably can work with the Canadians to speed things.
The Mountings, yes. They'll be on horses, but yes.
So they're either right on the border or they are in Canada. So yeah, they show up. They interrupt everything. She tries to shoot the helicopter with a gun. And then they establish that there is a helicopter that's ready to go, but like Simon and her get on it really quick.
And they're
and instead of just flying away and like trying to escape, they're like, nope, we gotta shoot him. Again, it doesn't really make sense because this is a reshot ending, so they're kind of like, we gotta. Then he gets on the helicopter, and then the helicopters are shooting each other. It's like a whole thing,
right?
So their helicopter crashes, and John is like one-on-one with Simon's helicopter
because Zeus and the pilot can't get out.
Yeah. And I do like that he like shoots the wire on the sign, which was his clue where they were in the first place, and he just blows them the hell up.
Yeah, God bless. Again, I'm lucky if I can hit the wall. If you tell me to hit that,
you can't shoot a dark wire on a sign at night.
And they always look shocked. They looked like shock when he shot it.
They're like, oh no! It's like, why'd you guys go so far down? Like, your gun has more range than his. Why didn't you just?
Yeah, because he had a
handgun with like only a few bullets.
Finally, you know what? All throughout the movie, he never once looked at his gun to see if he was running out of bullets. But this time, he had and it was a revolver.
Yeah,
like, come on, like
he got very lucky. But yeah, it's not the coolest death in a Die Hard movie.
What they could have did, again, they're soldiers, military trained. They had all that hardware.
Yeah,
and they pull out of the warehouse and surrender. There was no big shootout or nothing.
Yeah.
They just surrender. You see,
I feel like they just at that point, like there was nowhere really for them to go. They were probably. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I guess some of them could have, if they all went in different directions, some of them would have gotten away.
Listen, I would have been the guy running with one gold bar.
Yeah, it is weird that there wasn't just one guy pocketing some gold.
And Kennedy, amen.
I mean, it's possible that there were a few people that were like, oh, fuck, let's get out of here. So yeah, they just explode and they die. And then John does the whole, like, say hi to your brother for me.
Right.
I do like when they're just like, yeah, should we put that fire out? And Zeus is like, nah, let him cook. I do like that.
He had a rough day. So.
Yeah, and then he ends again because he's like, oh shit, I left Holly on hold, which I have to look up if that was Bonnie Bedelia's voice.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
She did say something, and then
Yeah, she's like, John, wow, what the hell?
right when he got on
Yeah.
the helicopter.
So then the movie ends with him calling his wife while that military song. It's not the Ants Go Marching song. That's how kids know it, but it's like a military marching song plays, which they were playing for the bad guys the whole time. Now,
tell me, Tony, the alternate ending.
It ends. It goes, I think, 6 months later. Simon is in Budapest enjoying a nice meal. And then it turns out John McClane is there. So John McClane tracked him to Budapest. And he's wearing like a big, thick, heavy coat. And he's just like, hey, I found you. And then Simon tries to call like his guys. And he's like, oh, I have their cell phone right here. He's like, now I'm not sure if that's one of the two that I killed or the two that I have handcuffed. I'm not sure which one it is. So he reveals, he's like, yeah, so what happened to Simon? What happened to all your guys and your girlfriend? And it's like Simon in this version took all the gold for just himself. He had it what do they call it? He had them turned into little Empire State Buildings, gold Empire State Buildings.
Okay.
But yeah, he betrayed everyone, every single one of his crew. He betrayed.
See, I'd like that. That's a little bit more brutal.
Yeah,
and,
but he asked him like how he found him. It's like, well, John McClane's just like, yeah, I figured you went through Canada and you did this. He's like, by the way, that pill bottle that you gave me, we actually tracked it to a small little pharmacy here down the street. So again, he because he assumed he was going to die. It's like, oh, wait, where did he get this? So that's in the original version, the pill was from the pharmacy, which led him to Budapest.
Yeah, I like that one.
Now he tells him, it's just like, oh, by the way, I was fired from the NYPD because they thought I was in on it. They didn't want to admit they screwed up, so they just assumed he was in on it, so they fired him. Then he tells him that he's like, the inspector's still trying to fight for me to get my pension. He's just, hopefully I get that. Zeus is apparently doing well, but he's basically like, so you screwed everyone, I found you. And then he's like, we're gonna play a game called McClane Says. And he pulls out a Chinese rocket launcher, but all the targeting stuff is taken off, so he doesn't know which way it's directed. And then he starts asking riddles to Simon. And the one he's just like, a bad guy and a good guy are here, and there's a bomb. What did the bad guy forget? So Simon freaks out, hits the button, and he blows himself up. Like the rocket shoots through him. And it reveals that John McClane, the answer is a flak jacket, because John McClane had a flak jacket underneath his coat. And then that's how the movie ends. And I'm sorry, but that sucked. They needed to change that ending. Because John McClane, he doesn't seem like the guy
that's that cruel.
Yeah, one is that cruel, but two would hold that type of vendetta and seek the person out.
No, that's Taken.
Yeah, that's Taken or something. There's heroes that could do that, but the appeal of John McClane is just he happens to be in these situations.
He's a happy-go-lucky killer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just it's oh no, he wasn't meant to be in the situation. He's thrusted into it, but
now that he's here, he'll take you out.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
But then I feel like the John McClane we know, after that whole boat explosion, if he say he didn't know about the pill bottle or anything, he would be like, well, that sucks. It's someone else's problem now. That would be his thing.
He'd be pissed for a little bit, but then go on.
But instead he goes on this. He's traveling the world to go on a murder revenge mission with a rocket launcher. And I'm like, dude, now you're getting yourself in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So I don't think it tested.
He doesn't have to worry about his pension.
Yeah. Well, I think in the next movie, the bad guy deletes his 401k. So, oh well. So yeah, it's just a needlessly cruel thing for McClane to do. It was very out of character. It's a cool idea for a scene, but it didn't really work for this movie.
And it didn't work for that movie because that's not.
Yeah.
That was.
Luckily, they were still able to use the pill bottle to figure out a new ending. And again, that's not.
If he had the rocket launcher, it'd be at the helicopter.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, the ending, I guess it just didn't test well. Also, it's not very actiony. If you're following up the last two, you want a very actiony ending.
Right.
not this kind of sit down one. Not that you can't do that, but like,
and the helicopter scene worked.
yeah,
well.
as like I said, I think the ending of the movie is rushed. But when I found out what the alternate ending was, I'm like, okay, well, it was going to be way worse. Would have been nice if it was a little. They had more time to figure it out.
You have a point. If they had tried to get away from him, and John and Zeus chased them, and then they crashed or they blew up, that would have been cool.
Right. That would have been cool.
But you're right. I would have just. I have a helicopter.
I'm just gonna fly away.
Right. I take a couple gold bars with me. I got.
But not only did Simon have a helicopter, but he had a better gun, and he got John on the ground, and he could have flew away at that point.
He got the girl. I got the gold. I'm in Budapest.
So yeah, that was going to be the original ending. It sucked.
You're right. Thank you for see now.
It's on. I know it was on the DVD, but it's also on YouTube if you guys want to check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, and like also, like Sam Jackson's not there, and you kind of want him to be there for the finale.
He's been here for the whole movie.
Yeah. So then having this ending that's weirdly like a year later in like a little cafe, like it's just. It was a good decision for them to like.
I'm glad they kept it that way.
Yeah, and also it's a super complex thing.
That's a big.
It's a very complex planning.
That would have hurt my head in the theater.
But yeah, that's Die Hard with a Vengeance. I love it. I think I still like the first one more, but this is one I could watch all year round. The first one I kind of savored. The first two I saved for December. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think it changed up the formula. I thought that was really good. They did something unique with the villain. The bomb stuff was fun. Driving around New York is fun. I don't know. How did it feel for you?
I liked it. I watched it like you recently, and I still was entertained, even though I knew what was coming. I did like it. I just wish sometimes the character that, like Angry Black Guy, I think Samuel Jackson plays that a lot, but yeah. So they didn't have to. Everything had to be like so confront.
At that time, though,
right?
It had to be at that time because that's like what he was kind of being known for at that time.
Oh yes, yes.
Now you wouldn't do that, but
well now he's more softer.
Yeah, I guess I say my one complaint.
What is that?
It would have been nice to know what happened to Al Pal. The cop Al Pal from the first movie. Because my biggest complaint with 2 is that he only had a cameo.
He probably retired.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to hear that. It would have been nice to just know what happened to Al. Because now as like Die Hard fans, we've had 3 movies without him, and it's like, yeah, but what's Al doing? Is he okay? Like what I just because they're again, I said the biggest regret was like their chemistry was so good in 1. I wanted to see them go on an adventure, and then they never do.
Okay, so I shouldn't be the one to tell you. He moved his family, moved in with his mother and his sister Rachel.
Yeah,
and his neighbor, some skinny kid, and they lived happily ever after for 8 years. So.
Except for that one daughter he had who never came back. Do you remember that?
A witness protection.
That is it. So yeah, if you don't know Family Matters, they had a younger daughter, and there's like an episode where she just goes upstairs, and then like she never appears on the show again, and they never say where she is. Like, what happened to her daughter?
That was Poltergeist 6.
They just never bring it up.
They just.
And then his wife magically changed her face in the last season. That was weird.
Plastic surgery, but Al did well. I think he made lieutenant. He made it all the way to lieutenant. So.
I was saying, if you ever explore the Die Hard universe, just let us know what happened to Al. But no, I love this film. John McTiernan upped his game for it. It still looks great. The effects are. There's not any. I can't think of any bad effect. Maybe a little bit of the water in the dam. But other than that, everything looks 100% realistic.
I just like that they kept it moving. Again, I like characters. I was looking at a program, and a guy said, I'd rather be a small character in a major movie that's done well than to be the lead.
And like a small, but
right. So I like all the references. I mean, they were smart with the cops. In one of the scenes, they said the guy says, "Why blow up a department store and a girl says, "You ever see women mad when a shoe sells?"
Yeah, women during a shoe sale. Like that's good. That's good.
So like the subtle things that they brought in, they kept it moving. I did, and I did like. He was probably one of my better villains.
Yes. Simon is probably my favorite villain in the whole series.
Right.
As much as I love Hans Gruber, I really like Simon Gruber.
Because he was cool, he was confident, but yet he was still a villain because at the end of the day, he still is a villain. He is still.
Oh man, it's a fun time. It's a fun. You
And
can't
the girl was the female. She held her own. She was
she was good too. She was good too. She didn't really talk because she couldn't.
Right, and that's one good thing, you know. But you knew she was menacing.
She's very good femme fatale.
Right, like
them.
yes.
I'd say if you for some reason if you haven't seen Die Hard 3, if you're ever gonna watch one Die Hard sequel,
I would.
This is the one. Although I do like 4. I do like 4.
Why? Why do you like 4?
It's just a solid action movie. It's a solid action movie. I didn't like the PG-13 version in theaters, but there is an R-rated version of it.
Really?
Yeah, the DVDs I think they put out an unrated version.
I have to watch that one.
It's just a fun action film. They actually, what was it, 2007? I was surprised at that time, like how many like in-camera stuff that they were doing, because it was the guy who directed Underworld, and I didn't like the Underworld movies. And he used a lot of.
You didn't like spandex?
I liked how Kate Beckinsale looked in the movies. I didn't necessarily like.
I almost went out and bought Windex. I remember going out like. I remember the girl dating. Why do you have so much Windex? No, don't worry about it, honey.
No, there's a lot of in-camera cool stunts in there. I just thought it was a fun movie. It didn't. People were like, "Oh, it doesn't feel like Die Hard." I'm like, "Well, neither did 3, and that was fun because 3 changed the formula."
Well, I guess I gotta watch the. Do you have the uncut version?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have it on the DVD pack there.
That's hard to believe.
You can probably rent it. A lot of times these movies you can rent.
I feel like I'm back in Blockbuster.
However, Die Hard 5 is the worst thing I've ever seen, and I will never watch it again unless I cover it on this show. But yes. That is it from us. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thank
Mike.
you for having me. I appreciate it. Hopefully we will. What are we going to do?
I want to have
Wesley
you
Snipes?
and I want Cop Mike and Prison Mike together to talk about I don't know where it is right now. The Fugitive.
Oh, that's a good one.
That
or Passenger 57.
Passenger 57. Oh, but I want for Prison Mike, I want to do The Fugitive with you guys. Right. But yeah, we will 100% do Passenger 57 at some point.
Thank you.
But yes, please like, share, and subscribe. Please buy the merch. I'm hoping I'm hoping by the time this comes out, all the merch sold out. But if it didn't, please buy the merch. I also have posters on the way. I just plan to get posters made. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Yeah, and then do all that other fun stuff, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.